Cinco de Mayo. Yeah. My shorty bad like Shakira.
Ooh,
I told her look in the mirror.
yeah.
Don't need a license to carry. I do not let them sit near.
Nah.
She got a heart that's so pure.
Yeah.
Better hope nothing occur.
Nada.
Better hope nothing occur.
Nada.
Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of NFL Flag Talk. We talk about all topics in regards to NFL flag football in general. Talk to people who are movers and shakers in the business, and people who have been influenced and impacted by flag in their lives. I'm Eric Cooper.
I'm Rashad Colvin.
We're glad to say we've been here for a year. This is a year. We're going to recap all the stuff we've talked about in the past year here at NFL Flag Talk. It's been a privilege and an honor and a blessing to be able to be here for a year.
Yeah, for
Rashad.
sure, man. Like season finale, season wrap up. Just like that year went by pretty fast. And who's to think, like, after the first episode, we'd still be doing this. So it's like it's dope to even think about. But again, NFL Flag Podcast, we've been going strong. We're gonna continue this thing, and because we love NFL Flag. So
That's right. So let's talk about what have we talked about? Let's recap some of our past episodes that we've done.
Absolutely.
You know, when we first met with you guys, and it's been a year, you know, we were basically just thanking all the people who've been with us for the past 20 years here at the Pittsburgh NFL League. And I also remember we were also NFL Flag League of the Year at the Summit. So we just wanted to thank everybody, shout out everybody there. Then we had our second episode where we talked to Matt Ramel,
For sure.
tournament director of NFL Flag RCX Sports. And he was just a great get to have on the very first, our first real episode. So.
Absolutely. But just kind of going back to the reason why we started this was to thank everybody at NFL Flag. And it was one of those things where it was like, hey, we were the trendsetters. We did like a lot of things first. We were like the first to have a Hall of Fame, you know, in our league. We were the first to probably do an All-Star game. You know, we were the first to do like a lot of things that we did. Like our website was just, you know, one of the best when it came to NFL Flag. So again, we were the first. So like, why not us create a podcast to talk about NFL Flag?
Right.
Yeah.
And let's also not forget our top 10 or top 25 plays.
Oh, them highlights.
And the videos
Them
we put
highlights,
together
man.
and those movies for the
For
kids of the
sure.
stars.
Absolutely.
You see their names in the credits.
For sure.
Like they're everything. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But just going back to Matt, I remember, I think the first time I actually met Matt was our first tournament, like our first, let me say, Beast of East tournament when I think it was at a college. I don't even remember the year. I remember the team I had. I remember where we were. I remember who we played. And it was my first real introduction to like travel flag. We didn't really know who Matt was, and he wasn't, you know, who he is now. And he was just like the tournament director, the Beast of East, and the tournament was dope. And I remember having a conversation with him just talking about like, this is something that he's been doing for years. And this is like, how are we just now finding out about this? And I think at that point, it was probably like year 7 or 8 for him. So
yeah.
I just thought that whole thing was dope. And he gave us the idea to have our tournament, the Steel City Showdown. So we want to thank Matt for that and appreciate him for coming on and doing everything for the sport.
Right. And because of what Matt has done, you see what he's done is it's taking it to a level that we never could imagine. You know, we'll talk about this more, but even this year at the NFL Flag Championships
For sure.
at Canton and seeing the teams on ESPN.
Yeah.
And that's just, if you would have asked us back then when we started in 2016, I didn't even think about that.
For
so
sure.
Now you see where it's at. So now Matt also has a brother,
Yes.
and Mike Remel
Right.
was our guest the next episode, and Mike does a great job with his flag football life. And what I liked about having him on is that he talked about he's one of the pioneers and shakers in the women's flag football movement that's been going on for the past few years. You know,
For sure.
His big Rerun the World tournament is like the only all-girls flag tournament that is crazy.
Which is dope.
And what I also liked about having him on is he talked about the scholarship that he has for the girls.
Which is another thing that's
and
phenomenal.
that helps them go to colleges. You know, there's like 25 IA schools that now offer scholarships, and some NCAA Division II schools. So those scholarships for the girls are a big help, and just another thing that shows about how flag has grown.
Right, for sure. And then how did Mike even get started? It's just like, the brothers, Matt had the tournament series and whatever. Then he got promoted to NFL flag. And so Mike, his brother, had to fill that void, and has took the torch and ran with it and has exploded it. And it's even bigger, like Flag Football Life, or like the top-notch tournaments outside of NFL flag that you want to attend. And you want to win one of those rings, because Flag Football Life were, at least I think in my eyes, were the ones who really introduced the whole rings, like getting rings for winning those championships. And those tournaments would always fill up so quickly because of what he created, the space that he created, the NFL flag name and the Flag Football Life, name, that brand alone. When you would see one of those tournaments, you would put that on your schedule saying, I need to go to these tournaments. They're in my radius. I need to attend these. I need to win these rings. And again, we appreciate, both of them, truly for what they do in this game. And we thank them for being, a part of our some of our early episodes.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, we also couldn't let this podcast go on without, promoting and highlighting some of our people who've been in our Pittsburgh NFL League, since we started this thing back in 2004. Mm-hmm. So we had coaches on. And then also on some of our, if you've been with us all for this past year, we try to focus on different topics each year. And so, each episode. And so this topic was all about coaching. And so we had three of our coaches, Reggie Manis, who's been here from the beginning, and Chris Clark and Richie Linhart were on to talk about their experiences as coaching and coaching travel and in-house. And I thought they all gave some great tips and about coaching.
I feel like coaching doesn't get enough love. I feel like coaching, period, any sport, no matter what sport it is, it's one of them things where it's like, if you're great, again, you get some of the highlights. But even when you're not so good, maybe, I don't want to say wins and losses, but I'm talking about as far as like, I have a team. My team might not be great, but I am pouring into these kids. And it's one of those selfless jobs like teaching, like I think we had mentioned, where it goes unnoticed, but you are pouring a lot into these kids, teaching them the game, no matter what sport it is. And I feel like these coaches don't get enough love. That's why I love to highlight the coaches, not just our coaches, but just coaches in general, because it's one of those things where people have to step up into those roles. They're not getting paid a lot of these times for these roles, but it's something that they want to do. It's on their heart. They want to come out and pour into these kids and teach them the game that we love. So I love highlighting the coaches.
But also moved me about talking to those coaches, our coaches in particular, but coaches in general, is how they impact them outside of the sport. So we had Reggie on talking about how some of his former players reached out to him and on applications and saying for volunteer things. And so I think that's a great thing. And he would be involved in their school and just help them out. And besides football, just in life.
Real quick.
So, yes.
Yeah, real quick. Let's just real quick just highlight those three coaches. Yes. And let me just start off with Reg. For the people, of course, that don't know him, in our league, he was the coach. He was like our Vince Lombardi, to the point where he has an award, the Coach of the Year award, named after him. He has won the most games in our league. He has set every single record. He's like have the most Super Bowls. Like, he is the coach because he loved the game, and he really, like, between X's and O's, putting people in position. He was one of the ones that I looked up to when it came to coaching, like how he really emphasized the blitzer. He was the first person I ever seen. He really emphasized blitzing, and I really look up to Reg, and we really want to salute Reg for everything he's done for me personally and for our league.
And to piggyback off of that, he was also our very first elite coach, and he was able to take that team to the regional championships for our very first year against Virginia Extreme.
For sure.
And so that was just he's just a great guy.
For sure. And then my experience with Chris, because I coach, just going up against Chris, there was definitely some battles, and I love going against Chris. There was not one coach who brought energy. That's one thing that I feel like I lack as a coach. Chris would bring energy, and that would just influence his players to, like, you know, to raise their level, and I love playing against Chris. There's nobody who had as much energy on the sideline and would rally his kids up as much as Chris, and he still does it to this day, and I absolutely love, you know, his attitude. It's infectious, and I love Chris. I love him as a coach.
And piggybacking off of that, what I also like about Chris is that he gets all the players involved.
That's great.
He wants everybody involved.
For
he doesn't want
sure.
to see anybody sitting down.
Absolutely.
And then not only that, we do our training camp. We do like a 3-week training camp. He's right there in the front, basically leading the skills and drills for the kids. And so he doesn't just care about the kids on his team. He cares about the league as a whole.
Absolutely.
So we respect him. And then the other guy we had was Richie, who's sort of a little bit new to our league. He's been here for about 3 years with us. But Richie, you can always tell he's another passionate coach.
For sure.
And puts it all, studies film, tries to get the kids, put them in the right position. He actually had, a couple years ago, his defense was like one of the best we've ever seen. So shout out to him as well.
And he's arguably had one of our best teams we've ever seen, you know, in our league. Where did they go undefeated?
Yep.
So they went undefeated. They had the most shutouts ever, and it was like the least points scored, and the team was phenomenal. Like, we've never had, like, that was like an all-Madden team, you know, playing, and he was the first to kind of ever do that. So those 3 coaches right there, like, kind of set the bar for some of the coaches we had on the podcast. So, you know, salute to them.
Another part of flag football was officiating.
Yes.
And nobody else could talk about officiating more than our guest we had. That episode was Tom Leneve, who is director of officiating for RCX Sports and for NFL Flag. And just having him on, again, raised the bar for our podcast
for
a little bit as well. And, you know, he's been in the game, in the NFL Flag game for 25 years.
For sure.
And he is a consultant, the youth consultant for the Baltimore Ravens as well. But having Tom on was great. Again, you could tell his passion for refereeing and everything. And what I like having him on is just how he explains some of the rules and some of the difficult rules, such as impeding the rusher.
Yes.
He went into that. Impeding the rusher is, if you don't know, if you do know, it's probably one of the most controversial rules of the sport. And so having him on to talk about it and breaking it down in more detail, I thought was very helpful.
It was extremely helpful. And I want to talk about my first time meeting Tom was at that Washington Redskins at the time regional tournament, where my goal was to film our team because it was like one of our first time doing this. We thought it was dope. So I wanted to capture the moment. So all I didn't coach at that point. I was just like recording everything. I was trying to get all the shots. And I remember Tom back then, this is maybe 2015 or something like that, when he just kept finding me, kicking me off the field because I wasn't a coach. I was just trying to capture the moment. Every time I would see him walk over, I would have to run and hide. But he's still like this to this day. Like, if you're not supposed to be on the sideline, you know, you can't be over there. And I felt like Tom invited us to the Steelers. It was the female showcase, and the college showcase, and I really wanted to thank him for that. And it allowed us to learn who he is as not only as an official, but as like somebody that cares about the sport. And you could see his passion for the game, and that was actually a highlight for me to coach those girls up, to see the skill level of those girls, to get, you know, a lot of their work on film, and I thank Tom for that. And I look forward to stuff like that in the future with Tom. So, you know, hats off to Tom. We love him in this sport too. So
yes, and I do want to thank Tom for allowing me this to come back to help ref in the second Steeler regional
for sure
that we had here, and you know, it's great to see him in that light too, as sort of like your boss, for that time. And so shout out to Tom, not only for all you do, but also coming on as one of our guests.
Can we talk about officiating though? I'm just because, okay, so we both officiate, and let me say this, I will put this on record. I feel like I'm definitely one of the best officials out there, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why is because I'm not gonna get frustrated to coach, because I could coach, I played, and I officiate. So I feel like I know the game. I'm not going to get frustrated at the coach. I'm not. I understand.
Rashad,
I understand.
I've seen you at tournaments.
I'm not going to get frustrated at coaches where I won't listen to a coach.
Oh, okay.
There's officials that won't even listen to what the coach has to say. And I understand, hey, if the coach is yelling, I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna talk to him, just say, hey, once you get finished yelling, you have a conversation. Right. I'm not just going to not pay attention to you, because there's officials, you'll be talking to them and they won't even pay you any mind. I had official this past tournament at the NFL, supposed to be the creme de la creme, and I think it was on field 17. I remember the film because it was only last week. And after the conversation, he walked away because I think he felt like he was wrong. And the only thing I was asking, and because he even admitted to making a mistake, so I'm gonna paint the scenario. So this was at the end of at the half. The official told me that there was 10 seconds on the clock. So the official came over, because I'm always asking, like, what's the clock? I'll usually have the time on my watch just to make sure that we're all in the same, space when it comes to time. I asked him how much time was on the clock. He told me it was 10 seconds. 10 seconds on the clock. The ball is marked at the middle of the field. We're ready to snap the ball. He's holding the ball. The time expires. He waves his hand. It's halftime. End of the game, mind you, we won the game. At the end of the game, I'm asking, like, well, what happened? And he explained, he was like, well, I apologize, the time expired, but I told you there was 10 seconds left. And I was like, well, whatever happened to having an official timeout? Like, that's the thing that happens. The officials can call timeouts or whatnot. And he just basically, we would go back and forth, but he didn't want to listen to me. The other officials that were there, they all understood what I was saying. Even the one official said, yeah, he probably should have, that should have been on him. But he didn't want to hear what I had to say. So I always find it hard where I'm coaching, there's officials on the field, I'm an official, so I know the rules.
Right.
So a lot of the times where officials they'll just like blow me off like I don't know what I'm talking about. One more scenario that I want to talk about. Beast of the East this past year. Okay. It's the playoffs. We're playing Brick Elite. Mind you, Brick Elite didn't do anything wrong. There was an official. Let's just say there was 4 minutes left in the game. So one official that was on my sideline said there was 4 minutes left in the game. They ended up getting the ball. We ended up getting the ball back. So there should have been like maybe a minute and some change. I want to say there was like a minute 40 something left. Mind you, the reason why I know that because I got the time on my watch. The official stops the game. Mind you, the score was 25-9. We were losing. I don't have a problem with the score. The fact that the official stopped the game. I asked him, I'm like, what are you doing? We were supposed to get the ball back. Mind you, we was down 25-9. That's granted. He's saying, I'm stopping the game because nothing good is going to happen.
Well, see, that's a problem right there. You're supposed to play that out until the zeros hit. And I would probably disagree with that official by saying there is something good that can happen. We can avoid the shutout.
Exactly my point. So I'm just saying is like the officials have to understand we're more than just coaches. Like you got to respect us like we respect you guys. So that's all I'm saying when it comes to that dynamic coach official. And I still feel like I'm the best official because I could tell both sides. So that's just, those are just two stories. I got millions of them, but I'm sorry, I digress. We'll move forward.
All right. So now, as you know, NFL flag, the goal for NFL flag leagues across the country is how your league has impacted your players. And so for us, it's been great to see some of our players leave our league, do well, and then take it up to the next level and go up to high school. And even then, we've had a couple of our players even take it to the next level beyond that. And so one of our episodes, we had two of our former players who play college football, Eric Benson and Gabe Dunlap, came on and talked about their experiences. And it was pretty cool for me to be honest. I tell people all the time, I don't have any children of my own, but I feel like a big uncle or I feel like a big brother. And so when you see your former players who have been with us, they started playing back when they were like 7 or 8, 9, whatever, and you see them playing college football, it does your heart proud. So,
right.
And hearing their experiences and then hearing how like D3 schools are different than DT schools, right. And it was just something I never knew.
For sure,
it was good to hear from them.
I think the best thing that I took from that, and I always hear, is how flag football transitions to tackle football, even better than maybe just playing pee-wee tackle. The game of flag football, the way it transitions to tackle, hearing it firsthand from them is one thing that, again, I always hear, but again, just hearing it from people that did it was phenomenal. And that was one of my favorite episodes, just to see them learn, like watch them grow up in front of your eyes, and then see how now they're able to talk offensive schemes. They're able to talk, hey, this is what I see when I go look at, as a safety, this is what I see when I see trips this way. I want to shade this way. When they're talking offensive, defensive schemes, like the fact that they were talking so eloquently about playing tackle football in college is kind of what stood out to me, and I was just so proud of those two, guys. So.
All right. And then we moved on to the NFL flag championships at the Pro Bowl.
Ooh, yes.
And now I will say this, since we've been around NFL, at least for us for the past few years, again, like I said before, to see how flag has grown from just what you play in your neighborhood or whatever, to seeing it it was in Vegas. So we've been in Vegas for a couple of years. Now we went back to Orlando, and we had 4 teams qualify, but 3 went down to the Pro Bowl. And so we had 2 of our coaches, Kenny Holtzman and Larry Fielder, on to talk about their experiences down there at the Pro Bowl. And it was good hearing what they had to say. For me personally, the Pro Bowl in Orlando was to see, first of all, to see the Pro Bowl now become a flag event. Again, if you would have asked me a few years ago, I never would have guessed that.
Right.
And so just to see the players playing flag and get into it. And the player,
to be competitive.
Before the Pro Bowl was just like basically 2-hand touch. They weren't even interested. The Pro Bowl, the players are running on the sidelines.
For sure.
Getting excited, just like big kids.
Yes.
Which is what flag football is overall. So, but the Pro Bowl experience down there for the NFL flag championships was great, and hearing from them was special.
For sure. And, those 2 coaches going down there and coaching their teams up was absolutely phenomenal. Just to make that trip from Pittsburgh down to Orlando and to play that game is special, because you have to earn your spot there. So, both teams did great. I'm quite sure they wish they could have did, a lot better. But just the experience is really, what set that tournament apart. Being able to go to the Pro Bowl, being able to see players there, being able to see all the mascots around and that environment. It was at a park in Orlando, and everything the NFL flag did for the players, like them going through like being stars, being on stage, being interviewed, and all that good stuff. So shout out to NFL flag for definitely putting on a good show. And the only thing that's kind of saddens me is because it's no longer going to be there. So the fact that they don't get a chance to go to the Pro Bowl, it kind of takes away from it, because that last flag game at the Pro Bowl was the best one, and that experience, them being like a group, like a family, enjoying the game together, is just something that I'll miss, because it'll, I guess, be moved to Canton. But it was definitely special.
Yeah, and one of the highlights, because I was also on the flight with Kenny and some of the players on that team. One of the highlights was just seeing Minka Fitzpatrick from the Pittsburgh Steelers. For sure. Was also on that flight. Yeah. And at the baggage claim, everybody's ready to get their luggage. He was nice enough to take pictures with the kids. And so that really made it that much special for the kids. Man. Now, flag is seeing a lot of growth, but more importantly, it's seeing growth from the women's side of sports and women's side of flag. And again, another highlight for us is we got taken over.
Yes, the female takeover.
The female takeover was something special. It was great. We had Coach T, who's one of our coaches and also coaches a high school team here. She hosted that with some Coach Felicia, who coaches another high school team. Haley Adams she coaches high school as well. Sure. But is also one of the media people for NFL Flag and RCX Sports. And Teresa Khan, who's the owner of the Pittsburgh Passion, the female tackle team here, and they do big things They've been doing big things for about 10, 15 years.
For sure, one of the best teams in the nation.
Yes. Yeah. So having them here giving us a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
But seeing them see the passion they had
For sure.
for the sport and the growth of flag in general, even in at the high school level, and seeing how it impacts them, the girls was awesome.
Absolutely, man. The fact that they all talked about the experience the Steelers gave them, the fact that how flag is growing amongst females, how females really want to play flag football is phenomenal. And I love to watch them play flag, the excitement behind them. It's different because you see them really rally. You see them picking their teammates up. There's not really a lot of, at least from what I've seen, there's not a lot of individualism when it comes to female flags. And that's some of the differences that you could see between the game. And I love how they were able to all speak on their experiences, as coaches, as owners, when it comes to, the female flag and the growth of the game. And I just, I loved hearing from it. And again, the break that we got, but we definitely got to have them on season 2. So we got to make sure we make that happen and schedule that.
Right. And speaking of females in flag, not just from the coaching level and the player level, we also had Jamison Olsen on. And she's another tournament director, just like the Rainbow Brothers are. She also is the tournament director for Hard Count Athletics. And they had a tournament here that actually kicked off their season. And so it was great to have her on to talk about their tournament and how she got involved. She's from Pittsburgh.
For sure.
And so having her bring a tournament back here to Pittsburgh was special for her, and especially for our teams to be a part of. So shout out to Jamison.
Let's talk about that hard count tournament.
Okay.
Let's talk about, I love, and not saying other tournaments don't have DJs, but the environment, it's indoors, it's here in Pittsburgh, it's, 20, 30 minutes away. It's at a great facility. They have an indoor field, outdoor field. It's big enough to host a tournament at that size. I love the fact, you're saying it's not?
Oh, no, I was going to say, that might be my favorite complex because the parents are not on the sidelines.
Oh, yes.
The parents are watching from up top.
Yep.
And I think it's
it's ideal.
Yes.
It's an ideal location because it's only coaches and players down there that's on the sideline. And you can see from up top. You could take videos. You can't really scream at the officials even though you really want to. So I just think it was great. The competition was great. The environment was great. I loved the awards. They won each team I think won $400 for basically you get your money back for playing in the tournament. So and then it's one of the first ones on the tour. So it's in Pittsburgh. It's one of the first ones. It's prepping people for the season to come. So we absolutely love Jameson for having that, and we love working with her to make sure that it runs smoothly. And that tournament is definitely another one that you want to go to because it's in Pittsburgh. You could get from the other side of Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, or whatever. You could come here. So make sure you go to that first tournament in Pittsburgh. So love to be a part of that.
Now, NFL flag leagues, we have most NFL flag leagues across the country. They have their fall season and their spring seasons. So we were able to highlight some of our spring season, our little spring season preview. But again, we had Coach Diesel on, Jay Turner, who was a game day operations person for the spring. He's also another great coach we've had in our league and a great young man doing big things. For sure. And then and Fabian, Van Trifle? Yeah, Van Trifle. He was on from Valley Prep Academy. And what I liked about our spring league is that we've had some tackle organizations the last couple of years come on down and keep their kids in that mode of football to play in our spring league. And Valley Prep is one of them this year. And what I liked about him is that just their whole down to earth organization, good people. They showing the humane side of them. They had cleats that they passed out. Any kids that would need some
free cleats,
exactly. And these were not just some run in the mill. These are name brand, nice cleats. And so they at the start of the year they were down there to provide those for the kids who needed them. And I thought that was very special for the kids as well. So
Absolutely. So having Glenn on just to represent, Valley Prep Academy, and then them to win was just like the icing on the cake. So we didn't have any, inclination that they would win, some of our divisions. But hats off to them. And again, they are a tackle organization, so I don't understand. I would almost tell tackle coaches, why are you not playing flag in the spring? I don't understand it, because you could see the benefits from it, because those players are getting better. He's telling us his players got better because they played flag this season prior. So I don't understand why coaches are not as are not as interested, because all it could do is help. Because again, you're in a competitive environment playing football. Regardless of like tackle or having the pads on, you're learning the game, you're running routes, you're getting timing with your quarterback, you're covering people, you're grabbing flags. So it can translate. So that's why I don't understand. So hats off to the coaches that actually do that. But, just having those coaches on. And then let's talk about Jay.
Yes.
Let's talk about like Coach Jay. So Coach Jay was one of our coaches for our travel organization, was a phenomenal coach.
And, well, go ahead.
I'm just saying, hey, is he a better coach or is he a better game day operator now? Because he came to our league and he offered so much for our league for this spring. So let's talk about that.
Well, what I think about Jay is that he has whatever he's going to do, he's going to do it at a high level.
For sure.
So whether it's him coaching, and his coaching was. So, again, he brought something to the league we haven't seen. Like, his teams were high flying on offense.
For sure.
They were quick to get to the ball.
For sure.
And he was a teenager when he first, and teenager coaching up against adults,
right,
and beating the brakes off of them.
Crazy, man.
So that's him as a coach. He's now coaching high school football as well. But having him on as a game day operations manager, you saw the same passion as a coach here. He brought, which I thought was a great idea, the draft.
Oh my God, the draft.
We had a draft that we had, and this was sort of like the real NFL. You had everybody in the auditorium. You had the kids in the back, like in the break room. And I would be calling the kids up, and the kids would come up on the stage, hold their jersey up, and for the parents, and everybody went crazy. And that really took our league to, I think, this year, our spring, to another high level. Right. And it brought something new that we haven't done before.
We've never done.
Yeah, and so that was great. And then he also tried to do the game. He also tried to do like a game have a field of the day.
Right.
Where, like the main match, some of the big matchups took place on a field, and so he was just a big help in all that.
For sure, man. And our spring season was that much better because of it. Because we had game of the week, because we had televised games, because we had the draft. The draft is what set the tone for our spring league, which was definitely like our best league to date. And I'll go on record for saying that, just the competition level, the amount of teams, the coaches, the highlights, just everything. And we just thank Jay for just bringing like a younger, mindset when it came to like doing stuff like differently, because we're two older guys and we're kind of stuck in our ways. So just having that piece to add to our league was just phenomenal.
And I do want to shout out, even though he hasn't been a guest on our show yet, Scott Taylor was the one that brought like the televised
for sure
portion, and had a game of the week on, and with announcers and instant replays.
Yes,
and that was awesome for our league as a whole. And so we do want to shout out Scott Taylor. We'll do more with him. We'll maybe have him on too.
We
as
definitely
a guest
have to have him
next
on.
episode to talk.
Yeah,
next season to talk about that and his company
for sure.
So, then our last episode of our first season, we had to do a spring season wrap up.
Right.
And so we had Coach Mike Pace on, and then Jordan Godfrey and Calix Clark. And Jordan and Calix, again, special to us
for sure,
because they were former players who played in the league and wanted to give back, and have come back to help coach kids now,
right,
in the league that they played in, and to see them again, they have a lot of energy too.
Yes,
see a
ton of energy.
And you could tell that they really wanted it.
For sure.
And were focused
For
on
sure.
seeing their kids perform at a high level. I mean, they both played each other in the semifinal.
Right.
That matchup. That's how successful they were. They even get their teams to the semifinals.
Semifinals, yep.
And to see one of our former players take a team
To the
championship game.
Yeah, and could have won. Yeah, could have won.
Was special. And then Mike Pace has been with us for about 3 or 4 years now.
For sure.
And he's another one that screams out passion.
Yes.
And looks at film and breaks things down to the kids.
He's a brilliant coach.
Yes, and so he's been with us for a few years now. So hear what they had to say about flag and their experiences was awesome.
Absolutely, man. Just kudos to those three. And Mike is kind of like my favorite coach now. He's for me, he's taking Reggie's place. He's Reggie Jr. to me because he knows the game. Like coaches that know the game could out scheme another coach. Like I love like what Mike Pace does. Like his boys are really good. He's another passionate coach. He cares about the game. He knows the rules. So coaches like that, they definitely have a special place in my heart. And I can see Mike being one of the ones that's just like, hey, Reggie award might have to be the new Mike Pace award, sometime down in the future. So, hats off to those three coaches though. So.
Right. So that was our season. That was our podcast
for sure.
Season and recap, and we can't wait for bigger and better things.
Yes.
Next season,
yes.
Season 2. But before we wrap up talk about that season, let's talk about the event that we just came out of.
NFL Flag Championships.
NFL Flag Championships, as I mentioned before, was at Canton,
Ohio,
the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and I loved it. What I love is that the NFL flag does gives the kids different experiences, and what I liked is that this is the Olympic year.
Yes,
and what I liked is the opening. The NFL, the Olympics have their opening ceremonies.
Right.
NFL flag had their opening ceremonies. But you get is something I don't see. I haven't seen at tournaments.
Never.
I've
never seen it.
Every team was represented, went there, could walk on the stage. You're in every NFL team there, you're representing a real team. So you might have, if you say you're the Jets, the Jets had their regional, so they had like 18 winners or something like that. So everybody was there representing the Jets. You walked across the stage, and they said each team's name over the PA system, and just like the opening ceremonies for the Olympics. Everybody was to see all the players on the field, and then the fireworks ceremony. It felt like it wasn't a regular tournament,
right?
It felt
it's
like
the tournament.
It's like this is the tournament to be at,
right?
And I thought that was special. I thought that was crazy.
Phenomenal. It was phenomenal to have it at Tom Benson Stadium, where the first NFL game is played. Just to be there, be in that environment, and to talk to teams that you would never even talk to. Like I talked to a team from, I think, the Great Britain team, and I would have never talked to anybody from Great Britain had I not gone to that tournament. And shout out to Coach Rob and the Great Britain team, because again, just because of where we were sitting, we got a chance to talk to him, while the ceremony was going. But it was just phenomenal. The setup, we got pizza afterwards, which was another good thing. But it was just a great, the whole experience, the opening ceremony, the game on the field, and the television time.
And before we talk about that, to see some of the Hall of Famers.
Yo, yes, that's another thing. To
see some of
Andre Reed,
and
was it Tiki Barber? No, it was Rondé Barber. It was Rondé Barber. Anthony Munoz.
To see gold jackets.
Yes.
Out there.
And you seen them come on. You're like, oh my God, who is that? Yeah.
To see that was just
phenomenal.
Because it's something that the kids, if they stick with it and grind,
they aspire to be,
and practice and they can become that. And to see those people there, it's something that it was just
phenomenal, man.
Yes,
it was phenomenal.
And like Rashad mentioned, the TV exposure.
Oh my God! Talk about that.
The ESPN, NFL Network,
yes,
Disney Plus,
right?
To have the games. For basically for the 18U girls and the 15U boys division,
right.
To see the playoffs.
Yes.
Every playoff game, not just one game.
Right.
It was, again, it felt bigger.
Yes.
Than just like a regular tournament.
For sure.
Or even now, if you've paid attention to flag football. The Pro Bowl, they've had the championships at the Pro Bowl before, but it was part of the Pro Bowl.
Right.
This was their own. So even that coverage seemed bigger and better. And
but it was.
It was.
Yeah.
And when you see people like Teddy Bruschi and RG3, Robert Griffin III, and Mark Jones, the regular commentators, talking about these kids, they're thinking that they're like real stars and real players. And it was just, it was awesome.
And not to cut you out, but let's talk about Phoebe though.
Oh,
like she was nailing. Like every time they went to her about the commentary, she was freaking nailing it. Like shout out to the whole team that they had. I felt the broadcast was great. The games on the field were great. Like I got a chance to watch some of them. I was the Lockdown Legends from Tennessee. That's who I was rooting for. I've never heard of them, but I just was rooting for them because I seen they play with passion. Yeah, it was phenomenal, man. NFL flag knocked this one out the park.
But the winners, were Metro Select for the 18U boys division. And
they're from New Orleans, right?
Oh, from the 15U boys.
Yeah.
They're from Texas.
Oh, they were Texas? I thought
Texas.
they were. They represented the Saints, though.
Right.
Okay. Oh, that is right. Metro Select. Okay. Yeah, what am I thinking about? Okay.
Yeah, Metro Select.
Gotcha.
Their player was a beast. And then that was the 15U boys division winner, and the 18U girls winner was Staten Island Giants.
Right.
And
the juggernaut as an organization.
What I liked about them is one of their players couldn't play in the Pro Bowl championships because she was in a car accident.
Oh wow!
And so she was
I didn't hear that.
So they lost. I think I forget who they lost to in the Texas Fury.
Okay.
Texas Fury beat them in the Pro Bowl.
Really?
But they got a rematch.
Wow.
And when Staten Island finally had all their players, Staten Island beat them 7-6 in the semis.
Wow.
And that was a good game. And then they ended up winning the championship.
Okay.
So it was great to see that.
Yeah. Shout out to SIG, man.
And then we had 3 of our teams go. We had 2 of our 12U and 13U team go in the 13U division. And our 9U team, we're in the 9U division as well. We did all right in the pool play. All 3 teams went 2-1. And, then we had some of the breaks at in the playoffs. So we lost a couple of close games. But it is what it is. It's just the experience
for sure
of being there. And
for sure,
shout out to the winners of those divisions.
Absolutely,
which was a brave performance out of Michigan. And we've played Brave several times, and you just have to applaud their players for like running the routes crisp and just being coachable. But it impressed me the most about Brave, at least I didn't see their 9U team play, but their 12U team in the 13U division, is that they're only at 5 players. Flag, you only need 5. And that's what they did. They went out there with the 5 they had and won the whole thing. So it was awesome to see.
Man, I talked to Nick before that, and I asked him about that. Like, what if someone get hurt? And he just like, you don't plan for that. It's just like, we just going to play what we have. And he just, because he even said, about like having, extra players. He's like, this is who we got. And this is who we going to play with. But it was their best 5. And we played them, and they totally destroyed us. They beat the brakes off of us. The last time I lost like that was probably like Youngstown. Like Youngstown destroyed us 28-0. I think we got destroyed 28-0 before.
Hawaii, the Bulls.
But, oh, yeah, Hawaii. Yeah, the Hawaii team beat the brakes. I think I know all the 28-0 games, and those is 3 right there. But those are all three good teams. Youngstown, the Bows from Hawaii, and then this Brave Performance team. And I felt like I just flat out got out coached. Like I don't say that often, but I feel like Nick just flat out just out coached me. My kids were not together. We tried to run different defenses against them. They confused our defense more than one time, running the same concept. It was just a motion concept. Just had the man run underneath, their best player run underneath, and it was just confusing our defense every single time. And just shout out to Nick, But I think one thing that I don't know if this gets talked about when you play those teams, their quarterback is pinpoint accurate. He can escape the pocket. He can throw on the run. He sets up tall in the pocket. He throws with pinpoint accuracy. And that's one thing I don't think that gets talked enough about is their quarterback. And I'm not sure I think this is the same quarterback they've had, and this is basically the same team they've had, and they just, they've grown together. And I hate the fact that he said they haven't practiced, but to see them perform like that is just crazy. But it just speaks to how well coached they are, and that's really the difference when you look at some of these teams. When it comes to coaching, you can tell what teams are just athletic and what teams are well coached. I felt like my team was hands down more athletic, but we just flat out got out coached. And, hats off to them. And I knew this after we played them, they going to win the whole thing. Because I could tell, regardless of how many players they had, I could just tell how well coached they were. And it's just, it just speaks volume to their organization. And again, shout out to them because we love those guys. So,
Yeah. So, I mean, that was my experiences at the Pro Bowl. I mean, at the Canton Pro Football Hall of Fame.
For sure.
Hey, I don't even know if a lot of teams took advantage of being at the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Right.
Just because I went in there and just to see the history of the sport.
For sure.
And I thought that, yes, you want to be at the Pro Bowl, but being at the Hall of Fame, I thought it was special in its own
most
right.
definitely, because that's the Mecca.
Yes.
Right.
And so, now what I do believe is, my thing is, it's because they moved it to the Hall of Fame in July.
Mm-hmm.
I hope and a lot of training camps are not going on. I hope that they see more NFL players be a part. I hope that's what they're going to get into. I know this year was big because of the ESPN, and so you have to make sure that went out smoothly. But I hope next year you see more NFL player involvement.
For sure.
It's cool to see the mascots.
Absolutely.
But can I get some players? I like Russell Wilson. I'm shouting him out. Russell Wilson, he has his own NFL flag league.
Right.
So it would be great to see him out there because he's a spokesperson for NFL flag and
for sure.
Peyton Manning, and it'd be just good to see those players on the field. That's all.
Most definitely. And I just feel like it's probably just time. And I'm quite sure NFL flag reaches out to some of the players to see, like, hey, would it be possible for you to come through? Because you figure at the Pro Bowl, there was a couple players there. So I just feel like it's just timing. And, hey, can we make sure we make this happen? Because, again, if it's going to be every year in July, if it's a section when players are off, why can't the Browns come through, even though we're Steelers fans? But I'm just saying, like, hey, they're there, and whatnot. So, like, why couldn't they come through? But I understand what you're saying, though. But one thing I just want to interject, or not even interject, just to talk about, I just really want to thank the New York Jets. We went to the New York Jets regional for the second year in a row. And the reason we go there is because the Jets are just really in the front when it comes to pushing the flag football, out to the masses. They went above and beyond when it came to making sure our players felt love. They got us 2 different sets of jerseys. No other, flag organization did that. We got a $5,000, check for winning to help with transportation and hotels for Canton, and we got invitation to the facility that we couldn't make because we're in Pittsburgh, and we got tickets to the game, like to an upcoming game. But the Jets just go above and beyond, and I just really want to thank them and their staff. And Jesse Linder is always one of the ones that reaches out to us, and he always makes sure everything is good. They took care of Dave and Buster's for us. Like I just really want to thank the Jets, for everything that they did. And this is the one last thing that I'll say about the Jets. In our playoff game against the team we played from Kansas City. One of the Jets members was on the sideline. I don't know if you saw this, but one of the officials was like, "Yo, my man, you can't be on there." And he was just like, "Yo, I work for the Jets." And if you'd have saw the look on the official's face, the official just like, "Oh, all right," and just kind of just he just kind of got put in his place. And I just really appreciate the Jets, and they got us like footage, some highlights too. So just shout out to the Jets and their social media team, and just I just really want to thank them for just making our kids feel like stars.
Right.
So.
And piggyback off of that, I hope everybody can learn from the Jets' example.
Man,
my thing is, why should just the Jets play? Why should just the 18 winners, or however many winners from the regionals, why should they be the only ones to get that experience?
Right.
I think that should be something that all the kids should get. So, everybody has the same NFL flag jerseys,
right?
But But I think everybody should get the same type of experience.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's it's cool for the Jets to do.
Absolutely.
The Jets to do that.
Absolutely.
But some other highlights from this season, at least for our in-house league, I loved how the Pittsburgh Steelers invited us to come down to play one of our they have an annual draft party down there, and they invite our league to come down, and so we had 2 of our teams play a regular season game,
spring league,
regular game at Acrisure Stadium, in front of the fans that were there, and just for the kids to play, those 2 teams to play on the field was special.
We want them to keep doing that.
Yeah. So thanks to Mike Marchinsky and Joe Lofton for inviting us to come down there again.
For sure.
Later on, they invited us to the training camp, and so we'll be down there for a few weeks for that. So
absolutely,
shout out to them for that.
All right. So I think the one thing that I feel like you should mention is how was the experience at Canton at the NFL flag operators meeting? So for a lot of NFL flag operators out there that didn't get a chance to go, like how was the meeting, like talking amongst some of the NFL flag league operators?
Oh well, it's great to talk to other leagues to see what they do, and just what's it called? Talk a little bit with other leagues. For me, we've been doing this for a while now, and
for sure.
So it's cool to see like some of the new leagues because you don't see you see like the travel teams a lot, but just seeing the ones that just have leagues.
Right.
Because here at the NFL Flag Championships, you have to be part of a league, and so leagues that may not travel that much, but do these type of tournaments. It's cool to see like how many people, how many players they have, and I talked to I forget what the name of the league is, but they were like an all girls league, and so they were there representing there, and I also was talking to All Out from California.
For sure,
they travel a lot, and so I also try to pump up our podcast a little bit.
Yeah, come check us out, man.
And I think for a lot of operators, they want to get on, and so we'll try. So next season, that's the plan, is to try to have a lot more league organizers on to talk about what they do with their leagues.
Let's do that. Yeah. Let's highlight them.
And like Loud and Legends from Virginia,
Mike. We love Mike.
And seeing them and seeing how they represent the Steelers, but they made it to the semifinals
for sure.
And so it's just good to.
And he's a Steelers fan, so we definitely got to have him on.
Yeah. So, but just good again to talk to league operators, and more not just talk to league operators, talk to the heads of the NFL flag and RCX Sports as well to talk about the summit that's coming up in December in Dallas, and just seeing a little bit.
That's gonna be a time.
They also were giving out Oakleys.
Okay.
Which, now I didn't win.
Okay.
But they were giving those out.
Okay.
So you had a lot of people putting in their tickets, and the other thing they were doing is they have a new RCX Sports Foundation that is helping families in the community who may not be able to afford the league registration.
That is awesome.
They can reach out to them, and they'll pay at least the $75, like I think half off or whatever. Give $75 for the people who are qualified.
That is awesome.
And so that people can play and get benefits of playing NFL flag.
Absolutely.
So that was also a little bit of a fundraiser for that as well.
I love that.
So
man.
Again, it was just a good event. Buffalo Wild Wings, the food was good, and it was a good time.
All right, well, good, man.
Yeah, good. People were asking about you.
Yeah,
but
and I couldn't make it.
I know, but I was holding it down.
No doubt,
and it was a good time. So we can't wait to see some of them at the summit
for sure
in Dallas. So
for sure, and I really feel like we do need to do like episodes highlighting what are other league operators doing. Let's talk to them. Let's see what they're doing. Maybe they have ideas that they could share, to other people about what they're doing at their league. And I just feel like that would be a good idea, because I feel like that's what we do. We just kind of share like some of our ideas for our YouTube, for highlights, for our social media, for Hall of Fame, for our awards, for everything that we do for the draft, to again, highlight us, but I think our job is to highlight everybody else. So we just want to make sure we do that. So we want to invite you guys on, come holler at us, come get on the episode so we can make this thing happen.
Exactly. Yep. So that's it. Anything else you want to talk about?
I think the last thing I want to talk about is this is it for me for coaching, man. So
really?
I listen. I'm telling you,
he said
man,
that last year, ladies and gentlemen.
Man.
He said that last year. I'll believe it when I see it, but
And the one thing that I do want to say is I absolutely love coaching. Like, I love it. Like, I love to coach. I love to go, against, other coaches on the sideline because I'm super competitive when it comes to everything. But I really feel like you just get to a time where it's just like I feel like I've done everything I needed to do. My only regret is that last year we made it to the championship game at NFL Flag and basically came up a drop short, And I just felt like, hey, it would have been dope to at least win, and then retire. But I'm definitely saying that this is it. And I'm just saying, just like my plan is to make way for other coaches, to allow coaches like Jay to mentor him and say, hey, this is where these are the mistakes that I made. Don't make these mistakes. I wish I had somebody like that could tell me, like, that defense doesn't work. This is why this doesn't work. This extra point worked. This is why this works. This scheme works. This is why this works. I just wish I had somebody like that to kind of mentor me along my way, because just coaching, especially travel, is so much more difficult because you're going to see a team you don't know anything. You're going to see a team that's way more athletic. So how do you, coach against that? So my job is to take a step back, mentor Pittsburgh Elite. Let's do this travel thing, together collectively. But I'm done being the head coach of the team. So yeah, that's it for me. So I guess my thing is to mentor and officiate, and I'm telling you, I will be the best official out there. I need to be on TV with Tom, calling the plays, like, false start, offense, automatic first down. I need to be me out there on TV on ESPN. So that's my goal moving forward. So.
That's it. You can catch us on our social media pages. Catch all of our episodes on our YouTube channel, Pittsburgh NFL League. Catch all the past podcast episodes, and we can't wait for next season. We already have some special guests lined up to talk about females in flag and alumni and high school football coming up. So it's an earlier preview of some of our episodes that are coming up. And like I said, my goal is to try to talk to other league organizers.
Absolutely.
So thanks again for watching for the past year, and we can't wait to do it some more.
Man, season 2 coming soon, man. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good YouTube lingo, man. Make sure, if you want to get on, holler at us.
NFL Flag Talk. Take care, everybody.
Signing off.
My shorty bad like Shakira. I told her look in the mirror. Don't need a license to care. Nah.